Ellis Cinema back, another dish. How we doing out there? Good, great, grand, puke. As you see on your screen, your dial, however you are choosing to join us today, I know the cast and crew of this film appreciate you, even though they don't need me to promote their shit. But sometimes, listen, gang, I like doing films that you may not be inclined to watch. Not that, a lot of the females that listen to this aren't going to run out and see the new Kristen Stewart film, but, they probably already are. But some of you uncultured swine need to be pushed. That's what it comes down to. So your boy is here to give you a little push. So, as you see on your screen, your dial, Love Lies Bleeding by Rose Glass. From director Rose Glass comes an electric new love story. Reclusive gym manager Lou falls hard for Jackie, an ambitious bodybuilder headed through town to Vegas in pursuit of her dream, which is to enter a bodybuilding contest. But their love ignites violence, pulling them deep into the web of Lou's criminal family. Now, I understand that this isn't a kung fu action flick like some of you have become accustomed to me talking about, but it needed to be talked about. I think this is one of those films where you got to go out and see Rose Glass's vision. I think she is ascending into a very authentic and soon-to-be must-watch filmmaker. Yeah, that's right, I said it. I know some of you, half the crowd out here is like, oh, I'm watching Love Lies Bleeding, it's gay. It's about two lesbians, it's gay. No, you're gay. Be on the right side of history. And just so we're clear, yeah, Kristen Stewart and Katy O'Brien have a love affair in this. Yeah. And you want to know something? I think Rose does it in a way where I'm not even thinking about their sexual preference. I'm not, to me. I mean, because how's the best way to put this? So when I got done watching Love Lies Bleeding, you want to know what I thought? It really reminded me of... you guys remember A History of Violence? You remember that one with Viggo Mortensen? History of Violence? That's kind of what this movie feels like to me. It is very raw, very dirty, very grimy, and also steamy, dressed down, organized crime flick. I mean, if you think about it, but their love ignites violence, pulling them deep into the web of Lou's criminal family. And the dad, who runs the criminal family, played by Ed Harris, great. Dave Franco in this, sleazy, fantastic. Kristen Stewart in this. And this is coming from someone, I urge you all to evolve as time goes on in your life, because many, many years ago, I, as a big horror fan that I am, I kind of shit on Twilight like a lot of us horror fans did. The go-to line I always said was, my dead don't sparkle. So by proxy, due to that toxic thinking, not that I'm ever going to sit down and watch Twilight. It's not for me. It's 10 years ago, I probably would have been like, fuck that movie. It's stupid, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm just, listen, it's not for me. That's for tweens. And there's a place for those films for tweens. So don't think that I'm banging on it. It's like when people ask me how I felt about the Marvel TV show, Miss Marvel. Oh, it was like, and these are men. This is why I get so upset at some of my circle of friends. But these are men that are like, I thought Miss Marvel was stupid. And it's like, bro, it's for 9 to 13-year-old girls. It's not for you. I thought She-Hulk was stupid. Dude, you're a 36-year-old white male. It's not for you. So how about this? Instead of thinking that the content should be fucking directed towards you, you take a step back and go, from a technical aspect, this is fucking really well made, which Ms. Marvel was really well made. Love Lies Bleeding, I kind of feel the same thing. Like, I don't know if I've watched so many movies or if I'm so culturally evolved I attribute the way that I think is just growing up with two special ed teacher parents. That's, accepting everybody for blah, blah, blah. That's why when people talk about, their heterosexuality or, whatever their sexuality is, I'm bored by it. I'm bored. I don't give a fuck who you love, who you date, what your preferences are. Oh, my God, snore. In fact, I think we've gotten to the point culturally where can we have another conversation? Because it kind of sounds like everybody's being fucking selfish. Me, look at me. This is what I want. And then there's people like me that are accepting to all that nonsense garbage that everybody wants to fucking repeat at nauseum. And I'm over here just going, I don't fucking care. But I look at some of the reviews for Love Lies Bleeding, and I can't figure out anymore. And again, a lot of this is just because I'm a stupid person, but I can't fucking figure out anymore if people are just being trolls for the sake of trolls. Like, there's no way that this movie that's sitting currently at 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, and for all of you that's like, fuck Rotten Tomatoes, I don't blah, 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 they pay, blah, blah, blah. In my experience, and I watch far more movies than you fucking do, I probably watch more movies in 2 weeks than you do the entire year. And what I can say about Rotten Tomatoes, more often than not, the score's right. If a movie's 80%, I walk out going, yeah, that was a high B. Or a low B, high C, more often than not, it's always in the realm, unless we're talking like old 80s horror films or something, when those things are coming in at 25, 26%, then it just comes down to taste, personal taste. But more often than not, it's spot on. And then you go to stuff like Letterboxd, and there's an overwhelming response or overwhelming positive response to Love Lies Bleeding. But there's also the fucking just meatheads. Like, it's for the men that shit on this movie, that went out to see this movie. Did you go just so you could come out and shit on it? Because that's what it feels like sometimes. In this movie, like, I'm not giving it 5 stars out of 5 stars. I give it a 3.5, 4, easy. One, because I like how Rose Glass almost kind of spit on the idea of what a strong female character should be like. Listen. If you are still like using that phrase, like if you're into film, into TV, blah, 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 into art in general, and you're still using the phrase, we need more of a strong female presence, you bore me. Because the fact of the matter is something like this, I'm paying attention to the character. Like, Kristen Stewart's character is just written really fucking well. Katy O'Brien's character is just written really fucking well. It wouldn't matter to me if it was a man or a woman that played those fucking characters. It would still look good on screen. You want to know what's more effective? And I know half the crowd listening to this right now, you guys are all entertained by special effects and bright light. I hate to shit on you, but the fact of the matter is the stats speak for themselves. You guys all like the fucking bright flashing lights, blah, 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 blah. You all love that shit, and, and then you don't all of a sudden. Like, I don't understand how Marvel just became like the biggest fucking thing ever, and now everybody's like, fuck Marvel. No, man, just go out and have a little fun. Have a little fun. But back to the whole, like, destroying, like, what a strong female presence should look like. That may be one of my favorite aspects of the movie, is because it's ignored. We don't talk about it. There's just strong female presence on screen, but they're so unique to what the character of Lou is, or the character of Jackie, played by Katy O'Brien, is. Let's go down the cast a little bit here. We got Anna Baryshnikov, who plays Daisy. Hateable. Her bitch ass is hateable. And that's just a testament to how good her acting was. Dave Franco plays JJ. Hateable. What a fucking slimy piece of shit. Hateable. Love Dave Franco. I think Dave Franco just did a really good job in his directorial debut as well. Jena Malone, who we all know, who plays Beth. What do you guys know Jena Malone from? Hunger Games, Neon Demon, Contact. Now, what did I see in her when I was growing up? When I was just a young lad. Inherent Vice. I gotta do a fucking show about Inherent Vice. Sucker Punch, she was in. No, what did I see Jena in growing up that I used to watch all the time? Come on. I can't find it. I'm a piece of shit. Nope. For the Love of Game, no. Good movie, though. Donnie Darko, overrated. I'm going to get a lot of hate mail for that. It is. I'm sorry. Donnie Darko is overrated. You whore crowd are so fucking... You piss me off. Oh, she was also in The Ruins. I actually thought The Ruins was fun, too. I did. Anyway, Jena Malone in it. Ed Harris, who plays Lou. Very small, just like an A24 film is. Small and fucking bizarre. I literally, there are some moments in there that are clearly not for me, but like, I don't care. They still worked. Between Rose Glass and Weronika Tofilska's script, it has a attention to detail in the subtleties of the characters that I don't think that we get very often. And you'll have to watch. Of course, everything today is going to be spoiler free because I don't have any guests on, but you be the judge. I just thought from top to bottom, this film works. Well, if it worked top to bottom, why didn't you give it a 5 star? Because 5 stars are reserved for fucking Fury Road. 5 stars are just whatever. Just No Country for Old Men. Again, stuff that Coen Brothers stuff that appeals, that hits every chord for me. And it's not to say that this can't. I just thought the only reason I'll just be flat out with you. I think the only reason I didn't give it 5 stars is that towards the end of Act 3, I just thought that there was some artistic decisions that I wasn't fully on board with. For those of you that have seen it, I can say something. What can I say without spoiling? The cloud sequence. I'm not gonna say what they're doing, but the cloud sequence. Like, to me, that was just such a bizarre thing to do in that moment. But everything prior to that worked, which is why I didn't give a shit. Like, I am not one of these people that operates under the assumption of what have you done for me lately. I think far too often, not only in life, but specifically in movies, you get hung up on the ending. That I can't tell you how many fucking reviews I've read, not necessarily for this one, but how many fucking reviews that I've said or read where people are like, loved it, saw the end, hated it. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Let's use Schindler's List as an example. I could understand if you were like, love Schindler's List until Act 3 and a pink elephant came out of nowhere and killed all the Nazis. All right, fucking, we had... Do you guys kind of see the leap that I'm making? Like, we definitely had this historical piece and then it was derailed by something completely fantastical. Okay, I understand that, like a biopic or something like that. But something like this, which is... You can kind of feel the weirdness... and just how bizarre it is from the jump. I wasn't too mad at the ending, but going back to the what have you done for me lately, let's just, again, Schindler's List. So you're going to tell me the 2 hours and 20 minutes prior to that was all strong, but because the pink elephant came out, it's a shit film? No, it may be misdirection, but it's not a shit film, and that's how I feel about this. Everything leading up to some of those moments in Act 3, it's about as good as it gets. And if you talk about someone who's only got a couple films on her belt, under her belt with Rose Glass, I mean, she was catapulted with Saint Maud, which everybody loved. But prior to that, we have Shorts, gang. Do you have any idea how hard it is to go from Saint Maud to an A24 production? Do you have any idea? For a sophomore effort, I'm shit. Holy shit. It was really, really fucking good. But I digress a little bit. It does, in terms of the tone, it reminded me a lot of History of Violence, and which is funny. about history of violence because I've actually seen a couple of reviews on this one for Love Lies Bleeding that say Rose did a good job at depicting body horror as effectively as David Cronenberg. You want to know what's funny? A History of Violence, David Cronenberg. So it's kind of funny because I didn't read anything prior to it, but like when the credits rolled on this, I was like, dude, that was like an updated history of violence with women, and I'm here for it. We do like I'm not one of these people that gets upset like, oh, we're gonna take our classics and put women in it. First of all, men, you gotta chill. Like, yes. Do you have any idea? I mean, it's weird to have conversations with people that don't understand there has been a white face, and obviously you can make the argument that cinema and music and books don't have the same hierarchy as they used to. I believe Seinfeld just came out and said that. But when they did, come on, man, it was a white face, And I know that some of you trolls, just to be trolls, will be, Kristen Stewart's a white face. Yeah, but Kristen Stewart is about as bizarre as they come. Is Kristen Stewart, Kristen Stewart is a superstar, much like Jennifer Aniston is, right? Completely different tones that surround them. So if you say, oh, well, it's just another white woman. Yeah, but it's not the high, well, she does have high cheekbones, but it's not the blue-eyed, blonde-haired person that we had for 40 years. And same with the fucking men. Like, I don't mind if we repackage stuff with a woman in it, because here's what I do know, okay? If it is not the same filmmaker doing it, let's say they redid History of Violence, and Cronenberg's not the director, but let's say in this instance, Rose Glass or whoever else is the writer-director. I know going into it that whether or not they put females in the leads of something that we already knew that was tried and true, it is still going to be a different perspective that we haven't seen. Sure, there may be scenes that are ripped, beat for beat because it is a remake or whatever, but it's still going to be a different perspective than I had going into it. Does that make sense to you, or am I just babbling? I think I'm just babbling. As I've told you in the past, 45 podcasts, I probably shouldn't do this anymore. I'm realizing when I listen to other people's podcasts, I Know Movies and You Don't by Kyle Brule or fucking The Director's Chair, I realize I'm a dullard. I'm an idiot. I'm not as articulate as those that do have a show. The only thing that I can do is sound kind of cool. Anyway, lots to love in Love Lies Bleeding. Okay, don't come out of that pissed off, because it does kind of derail in there. I mentioned Kristen Stewart. If you guys don't know who Katy O'Brien is, she was in The Mandalorian. She was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Westworld, but her most notable would be Ant-Man and the Mandalorian. That's what you would have seen her from most recently. She's a no-good, dirty bitch in the Mandalorian. She's a goddamn turncoat. Ed Harris, we all know and love. I talked about Jena Malone. I talked about Dave Franco. So let's take a look at some of these reviews, because you all know that I really like going down and reading these for the first time with you, so I can react either positively or negatively to what some people are saying. So what do we got here? Let's go to top critics. Let's find some. We can do all of them. Wow, they're all overwhelmingly positive. So what do we got here that people that can better than me can articulate it better than this movie? This is a movie that will find its people, and once it does, cult status is more or less assured. Yes, you want to know what the bummer thing is, though? I think it's going to be a cult classic in the LGBTQ community, and that sucks, because if we had more learned cinema watchers, it wouldn't have a gender assigned to it. You would just think it stood well on its own, regardless of who the fucking characters and who was playing them was in it. This film is at its most fun and original when it leans into surrealism. I do agree with that, with the exception of the non-spoiled thing that I said happens in the end. I believe the word I used was clouds. The clouds. So, feel free to DM me and tell me what you thought about that sequence. Glass chooses to swerve this hellhound vehicle off the beaten highway, and, as with French body horror hit Titan, coherence is thrown to the wind. This is essentially a superior B movie that gets too pumped up on its own aesthetic steroids. Interesting. I never understand why someone who writes for the Financial Times, or anyone, why the Financial Times has a movie review section. Oh, because movie entertainment's not fun. Shut up. Just stop it. You know what I will say? This is like Thelma and Louise on steroids. I wish I could say I was original in saying that, but I think somebody else had said that, and I happen to agree. The only thing it's missing? Brad Pitt. British filmmaker Rose Glass lets rip with some pure roid rage cinema in this uproarious, horribly violent, and lethally smart noir thriller cited in the Venn diagram overlap between bodybuilding, murder, and sex. I don't know if I would say lethally smart. I would definitely say noir. I would definitely say pulpy. But it's not an overly smart movie. I would say, if we were going to use the word smart, I would say the cast's artistic decisions were very smart in terms of yanking me in, pulling me in. But I don't know. I guess if I think about a smart noir thriller, I think of, I guess No Country would be one. Jackie Brown would be one. Though I'm going to get hate for both of those. I'm just shitting on everything. Twilight. What else we got? Glass never gets lost in the references and mostly dispenses with a legacy in favor of Jackie and Lou's increasingly gory, strong stomachs required. No, it's not. Listen, this is why I like doing this. Are there some graphic moments in this film? Sure. In fact, why I gave it a 4 instead of a 5? CG. Oh, bummer, CG. I'm not going to tell you who meets their end and how. Again, spoiler free, but I didn't need a fucking strong stomach required. If anything, I went the exact other way. Strong stomach required to stomach the CG violence. Because, come on. Especially since it's not yes, it's a violent movie, but it's not like it's violent from fucking opening bell to closing credits. So I could understand if we had to, cut corners from a money standpoint, but fuck you. Fuck you. No, my stomach turned when we had the use of CG violence. I would be remiss if I did not mention 2 other huge players in this film that I think bring it to screen full force, at least aiding in the full force that it hits you with. The music by Clint Mansell, awesome. Mansell, sorry sir. But Clint, fucking goddamn good soundtrack. So good. Got that synthy 80s vibe, but very dark. I mean, it's 80s synth horror-ish almost. And also the cinematography by Ben Fordesman. Whoo! Looks good, babe. Looks good. In fact, I was talking to my chick sister, who is a colorist in New York, and I was like, you seen Love Lies Bleeding yet? First fucking thing she said was, no, but when I saw the trailer, holy fuck, that looked beautiful. And that's a professional colorist, so don't take my word for it. Just take somebody who was waiting in the wings to see it and was hooked solely on the look of the film. All right, let's get back to some of these reviews, see if I can find anything. Let's go to a bad one. Who hates it? See, when we go to the bad ones, it's never by anybody good. It's always by shit that I would never read. The Ringer? Who reads The Ringer? Real Views, REEL Views. I'm not shitting on you, James or Adam. I'm just saying, Why is it always it's never the LA Times or the Chicago Tribune that always has something negative to say about something that fans and critics alike found that were overly positive about? Why is it always the fucking known? Anyway, Adam from The Ringer says the best thrillers leave us worn out but satisfied. At the end of Love Lies Bleeding, there's only exhaustion and the vague feeling of having been dragged along on a fast ride to nowhere in particular. You need to read your own shit. Dragged along on a fast ride to nowhere. You think that's negative. I think that's positive. The end of this, the end, not some of the struggles in the third act, the end, as the credits begin to roll, so fucking good. So it reminded me of a Coen Brothers movie. And guess what a lot of the characters in Coen Brothers movies are going? Guess the places they're going? Nowhere. You fucking dolt. I didn't mean that, Adam. I don't know you. I'm sure you're probably a nice guy. I'm just saying, dragged along on a fast ride to nowhere? I kind of like that. I want to go on that fast ride to nowhere with Lou and Jackie, who, by the way, Kristen Stewart, steamy. Katy O'Brien, steamy in this. Their relationship in this, steamy. Really fucking enjoyed it. I don't think I said it. I think I got derailed as I always do because I fucking... Could you imagine me on cocaine? I would. This is me sober. Could you imagine me on cocaine? I'd be blah, 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 blah. Anyway, one thing I did want to say about Kristen Stewart, I wasn't a fan of Kristen Stewart just because, again, she was in movies that weren't for me, right? I saw a Shudder original called Lizzie that she was in, and I was like, oh, fuck, I think I like Kristen Stewart. She's a pretty fucking good actress. And since then, I don't believe in guilty pleasures, gang. You'll never hear me that. I even give credit. I'll tell you a Justin Bieber story. One time, I thought Justin Bieber was stupid. He's not for me. He's for little girls. I shouldn't listen to his shit. And then, what was that tune? Let Me Love You. That came on, and I went, who is this? And somebody was like, Bieber. And I'm like, well, guess I'm a Bieber fan now. I don't need to front. What point is it to fucking hold that shit? Shout it from the rooftops. We're in the most accepting time you could possibly be in right now. Shout it from the rooftops. But anyway, Kristen Stewart, each film that goes on, continues to impress me with her range. There was a couple times in here where I was like, Kristen, why was that the decision? But again, I'm an armchair director. Fuck me. She's already successful. What the fuck? But the point is that don't fucking let a preconceived idea hinder you from growth, gang. I was on the hate Twilight bandwagon for a long time, and then I just realized, it's not for me, and Kristen Stewart's fine. Same with Robert Pattinson. I was like, meh, I don't give a shit. And then I think I saw him in The Lighthouse or something, Lighthouse Tenant, and I was just like, is Robert Pattinson good? Yeah, he's fucking good. James from Real Views. It's a shame that, for all the good things Love Lies Bleeding does... it's a shame for all the good things Love Lies Bleeding does, the ending is such a complete disaster. Now, and I would love to pick Rose Glass's brain on this. I gotta think some of that was by design there, James. It's supposed to be a complete disaster. They are trying to get away from, Lou's father, who is... running guns and just not a good person, has a mask, almost fucking spoiled that there, but not a good person. So I don't mind if the intent was for it to be a complete disaster. Now, some of the optics as we ride off into the sunset, like I said, the cloud thing, I was just kind of like, whatever. But I get it in terms of it being a love story. You know what I'm saying? It just wouldn't have been, if I was going to do something trippy like that, that probably wouldn't have been what I decided to do. But again, this is, me being an armchair critic. Boston Globe, Odie Henderson from the Boston Globe. What does Odie say? I generally love noir, gore, kick-ass women in the 1980s, but Love Lies Bleeding ladled out a visual stew I did not enjoy consuming. Interesting. I do think there is an element of it's supposed to make you uncomfortable. There's some very raw shit in this. And I know that a lot of the layman type of fan, the raw shit that they're going to walk away or at least talk about with this is the sexuality in it. And I don't know. It's sophomoric. It bores me that, oh, did you see how steamy that sex scene was with Kristen Stewart and Katy O'Brien? What, you never seen a fucking sex scene before? Like, I don't know. I just, it's, figure it out, gang. I think you should check this out. And I've been selling people pretty hard on this one, mainly because I do think we need to usher in more weird films. And to me, this one isn't overly weird, but I use my friends, my girlfriend, whatever, as an example. And I can tell that they haven't seen anything like this to me before. Like, even my chick was just like, oh, that was steamy. Kristen Stewart, Katy O'Brien. And I'm over here going, I don't know, that was grimy. That was raw. I feel like I need a shower after it in a good way, I like watching stuff that makes me uncomfortable. And, I mean, to me, this film didn't make me uncomfortable, but I could tell that there were moments that my friends would be and my chick was uncomfortable, and they just don't see stuff like this often. So what does that tell me? Watch more movies, and you will enjoy. If you were to watch more movies in life, a movie like this, you wouldn't, if anything, you would probably feel like I do. Oh, it's a really good movie, tried and true tropes that work before, y'all got to get out of this ideology that we need original shit. I don't think you understand how hard that is to do these days. Original shit with an ending that's going to be pleasing to you. It's too hard, gang. We have done everything. You know what I'm saying? Now it's just trying to find the story. Like, we've done everything in terms of like old Greek shit, man versus nature. Like, we've done it all. So this obsession with everything needs to be authentic and original, and the ending's got to blow your fucking mind. Sixth Sense and Night Shadow. No, it doesn't. No, it fucking doesn't. Sometimes a movie can end where the guy gets the girl or the girl gets the girl. It's fine. Getting all fired up. The more of these fucking reviews I read, I just get... How do you guys watch movies? How do you watch movies? Anyway, Love Lies Bleeding is available to stream. Meow. Right? Meow. Love Lies Bleeding. Written and directed, directed by Rose Glass. Written by Rose Glass and Weronika Tofilska. Starring Kristen Stewart, Katy O'Brien, Ed Harris, Dave Franco, Anna Baryshnikov, Jena Malone, and on and on and on. And again, the music by Clint Mansell, perfect. Cinematography by Ben Fordesman, amazing. It's just a good movie, gang, top to bottom. So if you saw the trailer for this and you're one of the Fast and Furious gang that's like, nope, not seeing that, gay, you could make the argument that Fast and Furious is gay too. So, I mean, just differently. And I've just been canceled. Not for saying gay, but for saying the Fast and the Furious is gay. Shit. Ella Cinema was loving Love Lies Bleeding. We need more films like this. Grimy, gang. Grimy. Love Lies Bleeding is available to stream now. No excuse. Ella Cinema, Love Lies Bleeding. Hey. A week out.